This podcast is about introducing our fans to the animals, plants, and other products that we work with at Josh's Frogs. It's an opportunity to paint a picture of our hobby that is refreshing. We want you guys to be successful with the animals that you're keeping, and we want our hobby to grow ethically and sustainably into the future. Welcome to the Josh's Frogs podcast. Today I got Jason back to talk a little bit about some tarantulas. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that the Josh's Frogs podcast is brought to you by joshsfrogs.com. We're your one-stop shop for all your reptile, amphibian, and pet bug needs. So we're all captive bred here when it comes to the animals. And then we also carry all the feeder insects you need for those animals, as well as the live plants, and then all the dry goods, from caging to lighting to substrate to heating. We've got all that stuff all in one location. We offer a 72-hour live arrival guarantee on all our insects. So just let us know in the first 3 days if there's ever an issue, and we'll replace it right away. And then we do 7 days on any animals. We want you to be successful with what you're keeping. So we have tons of blogs and articles, how-to articles, and YouTube videos talking about how do you care best for these types of animals. And so please check it out. We want you to be successful with what you're keeping. So without further ado, welcome back, Jason, and welcome to the Josh's Frogs podcast. Tell us a little bit about what you do here at Josh's Frogs before we start talking about some of the tarantulas you brought with us today.
Sounds great. Well, I am, in my opinion, lucky enough to be the curator of arachnids here at Josh's Frogs. My responsibility is caring for the spiders that we have, breeding them, producing more, and getting more in so that we can have an excellent variety of the coolest tarantulas to all of our customers.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, tell us a little bit about how long you've been working with arachnids and give us the story. I think you've shared in another podcast, but just remind us, how did you come into enjoying these types of animals, and tell us about your journey to get there.
Well, the cute TLDR version is 24 years ago. I moved to Michigan, and my girlfriend at the time, said, "You should check out this local pet store. I think it's called Preuss." That was Preuss, of course. And I got a job there. And at that point, 24 years ago, I was so arachnophobic and so uncomfortable around spiders that I didn't even want to change the water dishes of the rose-haired tarantulas. And those are like eight-legged hippies. But working with them through exposure, that fear turned into fascination. And fast forward, I've made tarantula enthusiast groups. I've made tarantula nights where people would come in 4-H style and compete with their tarantulas for prizes. Built a solid community and built up a pretty solid breeding program for you.
Awesome. One of the things that I like that you do is you make keeping tarantulas easy, and you make it fun. So you take some of the fear out of it and say, explain these animals and what they're doing and why they're the way that they are. And I think that makes it much more accessible to other people. So just thank you for what you've done for our hobby. I appreciate that, Jason.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cool. All right. So we've been doing a thing about red versus blue. Kind of talk us through that and then show us off some of these tarantulas.
This is going to be fun. So let's start out. Let's lay the foundation. One of the many reasons that people like keeping tarantulas is there's such a variety of colors and patterns, like flowers.
Yep.
Like animated flowers.
Yep.
With attitudes. But two particular colors that I've noticed that tarantulas do really well are red and blue. And there are quite a few different species that are in the hobby because they exhibit those so well.
Yeah.
Well, first, let's look into the mechanics of it and the reasons for it. Now, with blue and red, they seem to serve two different functions. The red is aposematic, and that's bright warning colors to tell potential predators they are, in fact, the spicy meatball. You don't want none of that. So you'll see reds very common. Yep. Now, interestingly enough, though they are warning of venom, and they do bear venom, yep. Their venom is, you would think a bigger spider would be more dangerous, but actually their venom is very primitive. Physically, the venom molecules bear very little in common with the venom of true spiders, bees, wasps, and snakes. Those venoms are these huge polycarbon chains that your body really can overreact to. And it turns out that your body's reaction to venom is oftentimes worse than the venom itself.
Yeah.
There's really only a handful of venoms in the world that can kill inside of like 15 minutes, but anaphylaxis can.
Yeah.
But these tiny little tarantulas venom molecules slip right on the radar, and has never provoked a case of anaphylaxis ever, and there's never been a recorded death from tarantulas in humans.
Wow.
That's not to say being bit would be any fun. Side effects of a bite would include worlds of pain, swelling, possible nausea, possible disorientation, possible religion. Dear God, we haven't talked in a while, but it really hurts if you could help out. So that's where the red comes from. But actually, they did some studies on a pretty famous tarantula, the cobalt blue.
Yeah.
He's famous for their attitude.
Yeah.
These guys are just as angry as the day is long. But they're also a brilliant blue. And they actually managed to do some experiments with their eyes and tell that tarantulas, though they can't see the full spectrum of light, they can see particularly well in the blue spectrum. And they think that it allows them to see others, see and recognize others of their kind.
Oh, wow.
So, like in a world that's mostly just a suffusion of just camouflage colors, here and there, these little blue flashes say, "Hey, that guy's sexy.
Interesting.
That girl's worth it." So. The red is for defense, and the blue is for breeding.
Interesting. Can you go back to the venom? Is that only defensive? Is it part of their digestion? Are they doing anything with the venom besides, hey, this is just defensive?
The venom probably helps out with the digestion, but mostly it's mechanical on the inside of their fang houses. You got the fangs down here, and here's the part you see above the big lips. You see the fang housings. Well, actually, inside of there, they got really fine combs, and they rasp up their prey and separate the digestible from the undigestible before they eat it. That's why tarantulas have so little waste. Most people, do you know how often they clean the tarantula cages? Never. They scrape poop off the glass because, especially the arboreals, they're bad about it. But there's so little waste because they'll separate that undigestible into what's called a bolus, which is just this ball of chitin and unusable matter, and then they'll throw it in the water dish.
Interesting. Huh. I did not know that about tarantulas. That's really cool.
But some tarantulas do have a secondary defense. And interestingly enough, that group seems to be less likely to bite. And that's because they've got that secondary. The baboon tarantulas are infamous for bad attitudes, which is in many cases undeserved.
Yeah.
But New Worlds are oftentimes sweethearts, but not always. And one reason is before they bite you, they have the choice of using what's called urticating hairs. And imagine a horrifying cross between poison ivy and fiberglass insulation. And it just itches, and you get over it. And don't mess with the spider again.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. So you're going to show off some of the spiders to us today. All right. What do you got for us first?
So I thought to have fun. I started it with the wonderful marketing staff on our Facebook page, Team Red versus Team Blue. And I really hope that people participate by posting pictures of their own species.
Yeah.
So the very first ones we did were Brachypelma boehmei and Monoscentropus balfouri. Here you go.
Thank you, sir.
Now, you'll notice we're calling them by their scientific names. The thought was that would be less confusing because they call them different things in different parts of the world. Do you know how I know they don't call that a Mexican flame knee where they're from? Because he speaks Spanish there. But they'll call it Brachypelma boehmei. That spider is known for red on its carapace or top piece where the eyes are.
I see that.
And then brilliant reds along the legs.
That's so pretty.
And they can be found wandering around their deserts at night, the males in search of females, and then the rest of the time they're all in their holes.
Yeah.
Because that's what tarantulas do.
That's cool. I can definitely tell, like, out of the corner of your eye, you'd see that and be like, okay, that's definitely red. Like, you'd be able to notice that guy. It's sticking out like a sore thumb, especially in what I would experience as a desert when I've been out herping. Like, you'd definitely see this guy stick out like a sore thumb.
And if you did, you'd be like, ooh,
yeah,
that's bright red.
Yeah,
that's Mother Nature's warning color. Maybe I ain't going to pet this one.
That's so pretty.
That's so pretty.
That's so pretty.
So, also on the list of do not boop, but not red, different species of tarantulas are overall known to have different personalities, just like different breeds of dogs. These guys are hilarious because they're not your friend, but they're not really willing to do anything about it, but they'll rear up at you, and then they'll do something called stridulating, which is kind of like a hiss, but they do it by rubbing like crickets rub their legs.
Interesting.
And theirs sounds like a little top going off. It goes, whizz, whizz, just completely failing to be intimidating.
And this guy's got a bigger body, like a heftier body than the last guy. Is that Does it serve any purpose? Is there any reason why it would just be larger?
Same reason I'm much, much larger than I was in high school. This is actually a juvenile.
Okay.
When it's adult, it'll actually be bigger than the Balfry by a little bit.
Really?
This has got his little juvenile body frame. You'll notice that his abdomen is only about the same size as his carapace. Had I brought down an adult female, they got quite a bunch of junk in the trunk, and her abdomen would be significantly larger than her carapace.
These are really pretty. These are really pretty. Now you can tell like a little bit difference. Like you can see the blue on this guy, but like it doesn't stick out as much as the red sticks out. Like you can definitely tell like, hey, something else is causing the blue. It's not necessarily, hey, I want you to really stick out and be observable.
I think that's a great observation because they're doing two different things.
Yeah.
This one's saying, I'm here, don't mess with me. That's one saying, I'm here, but in a secret language only their lovers can speak.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
So I like the Balfry. Hard to go wrong with blue and blonde. They got that beautiful teal carapace, and they're a fun one. Versus the Balfry, gosh, the Balfry is a pretty spider, but in my opinion, I'm going to vote for the Balfry in this one.
Really pretty guys.
Okay, round two. This is a Brazilian blue, Tarantulas asmi. Now, the blue works a little bit different than the blacks, reds, and yellows that we see, like, say, in reptiles, where it's reflect. The blue is an iridophore instead of chromatophore, and instead of reflect, it refracts.
Oh, wow.
So it helps to have some light to see the blue. Hopefully we got a little camera action. Our cameraman's got some light on that and showing you that is a purplish blue spider.
That's really pretty. That's really pretty.
Now, she's not full grown. She's going to be in the neighborhood of like 4.5, 5 inches grown. I'd say she's about 80% there.
Pretty. Big bodied again. Yeah, I like that.
It's a Brazilian species. And notice that with the New Worlds, when you see the butt, it's super fuzzy. And that's because it's armed and dangerous.
So that's the throwing of the hairs. Yep, I can definitely see that.
Some have clever ways to deliver it. So their contender here is a classic that I think people underappreciate. People, unfortunately, they value rare sometimes over wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is the red rump tarantula. This is a species that was available if your dad kept tarantulas when you were in high school. It's been around a long time, and unfortunately, still a large portion of the vegans on the market are wild caught, but that's changing. Us and people like us are replacing those with captive bred.
That's pretty.
And I think that's a beautiful spider, jet black with that brilliant red butt. I think a Sazamai in her full glory that's showing off the blue a little bit better might be a little bit showier than a Vegans, but that particular Vegans beats this particular Sazamai. I think she gets the crown.
Yeah, I think so. I love the really red hair on the back. Like it back to what you described it as fiberglass. I'm like, yep, I can definitely see that. Yeah,
it's got the itch.
Not nice. Got the itch. I love it.
Definitely for looking at, not touching. Okay, so hopefully I'm not doing this out of order. So this next one is fun because it has some of the showy ones and a double agent. So this is one of my favorite spiders. This was one of the holy grail spiders when I was new to the hobby.
Oh, man, you can see the blue on that.
3/4-inch spiderlings of that species would set you back $350 if you knew somebody that had them.
Wow.
They're amazing spiders. When you see pictures of them online, you're convinced that it's been photoshopped. But then you see it in real life, and it still looks photoshopped.
Yeah, very pretty.
The iridescence on those legs is just mind-blowing.
That's really pretty. Really pretty.
So fun fact on that, keeping these animals, after a while, you pick up what I call reptile Latin. And after a while, you get used to looking for spots on the maculator, stripes on the fasciata. Well, the species part of that is pulchra pes. And pulchra means beautiful, and pes means feet. So that is the pretty foot spider.
Pretty leg spider, I think, better than pretty foot spider. Now, full size, how big do these guys get?
She is an adult.
Cool.
Not all tarantulas get big.
Yep. Very pretty.
All right, so that's quite the contender. It's hard to beat. But I got a special one over here that's going to pull a little whammy on you. So over here is the Antilles pink-toe carabina versicolor. And look at that metallic pink, fuzzy hair on the legs. Pretty teal on the carapace.
It just seems so soft, that hair. I love it. Very pretty, very pretty. And very hairy. I feel like more dense hair than some of the other tarantulas.
And there's a reason for it. Most all your terrestrial tarantulas, and the ones you've been looking at so far, terrestrial tarantulas, they spend their life underground. So they're getting a lot of their information through contact, through vibration, through smell, and things like that. These guys are arboreal, and they're a little bit more mobile than most tarantulas. What you think of as hair, now imagine as being a radar array. Those are all sensory hairs, picking up smell, wind movement, vibrations, all the things to try to keep that little spider alive and fed.
Interesting. So more like whiskers and maybe even like
whiskers
tongue.
Is actually a fantastic whiskers if they worked like a monitor's tongue.
Yeah. That's so cool. If it looks so soft and cuddly, that's what it looks like. I love the density of the hair. That's very pretty.
Oddly enough, the fuzzy ones aren't soft, and whereas like there are a few East Asian arboreals that you shouldn't really handle ever, that are just soft as silk.
Really?
Yeah.
So this guy's not soft. It feels more
like a beard.
Really?
Yep.
It looks soft. Like it looks like a
because you're thinking
pig.
of it like hair, but it's not hair. Only mammals have hair. Properly, those are called setae, and they're sensory. But yeah, very much like whiskers.
Interesting. That's a interesting way to look at it moving forward, to think about it like as my body is covered in whiskers, not the body is covered in hair. Yeah.
Now, I told you one of these was a double agent.
Yeah.
That was the double agent. So now she's team red, but when she started, she was 100% team blue. That's carabina versicolor. And versicolor means either many colors or to change colors. So when she's a baby, she is brilliant sapphire blue. And as she gets older, she turns that metallic pink with the teal cephalothorax.
Interesting. Now, I know there probably isn't an answer to this, but why do you think that they are changing colors? Like, why would it be blue as a baby and red?
I would refer you to my best guess, and I'm only guessing here, is the same reason that baby
Komodo dragon.
Thank you. Why baby Komodo dragons have colors and patterns, but adults don't.
Yep.
The babies stay up in the trees to stay away from the adults who will gladly eat them.
Interesting.
So when they're babies, the color and the pattern blends into trees.
Yeah.
But then when they come down and they can protect themselves, they're on the rocks, and then that gray-green
that's cool.
mottled look blends in much better.
That's really cool. So this is an opportunity to get both red and blue. Blue as a baby, red as an adult. That's very pretty.
And this is in specific reaction. I wish I could remember their name, but one of the respondents to the red versus blue said they like both, and that's why they like this spider.
That's cool.
Definitely getting your money's worth. Okay, so now we're moving along, and this is a spider that isn't normally blue, but its group is. So the common pink toe, when they're younger particularly, often shows a little bit of blue. But as they get older,
I can see that blue. Yeah.
They get dark blue to the point of black, and they don't really show the blue color early on anymore.
Could be a spectrum thing too. It could show blue that we can't see as well too. I'm wondering if
it could be off our visual.
Yeah.
But there happens to be a locality in northern Guyana where the genetics just stayed true. So there's probably some land feature that's separating them, where the pink toes are just they get blue, stay blue, and they're just fantastically blue.
Wow.
So they're referred to the North Guyana blue pink toe.
Interesting.
So that's what that is. Same species as the common pink toe, but just the Northern Guyana variety happens to be beautifully blue, so people are breeding them to keep
Yeah.
them.
It's I think with the pink toes like that, it'd be very easy to spot it. It's not a lot of pink, but like as it moved across, you'd be able to definitely spot it. And then still has the blue that it communicates like the visual spectrum to other tarantulas. So it's got a little bit of both going on for it. It's really pretty. This one too has even more hair than I think some of the other ones did. Like this is pretty long. I love now that we've been talking about whiskers. Like this one doesn't look as soft. It looks more rigid.
More whiskery.
Yeah, like that it's sticking out. That's really pretty. That's
That was
really
closely related to the Antilles pink toe that we had recently for Team Red. That was the double team.
Yeah, very pretty. I love the hair. It's got the poof going on, the afro going on.
So this is the competitor for that one. This is an uncommon of the red rump group. That's Gramostol ironeye, the Entre Rios, and just known for just a neon red to the red on their red rump.
Yeah, very, very. It's much darker red, and it's got some orange almost to it.
Yes, especially towards that middle stripe.
Yeah, very pretty.
So that's the Entre Rios, uncommon spider, but we have them because we're cool.
And it looks like almost like gray whiskers on parts of it as well too. That looks cool.
I know how that feels.
Yes, the old gray beard.
All right, so if there was a tarantula that deserved the name Karen, this is it. This is the Megaphobema robustum, the Colombian bloodleg.
Wow.
Or sometimes I think we got it Colombian giant redleg. Do you see how she's got herself all lifted up?
Yep.
Yeah, she's getting ready to do a display for you. They'll do these crazy wild push-ups to scare you away.
Wow.
They spread themselves out real wide and lift themselves up to look big. They'll stick their butts way up in the air. They can spin around throwing hairs like a spinning, itchy ninja Death Star of Doom. And they get big. That's a young one. Full grown, it could definitely span that 7-inch container you got in your hands.
Very pretty, very almost lanky. It feels like they're fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're fast. They got long legs, and they're so dramatic. I brought one of the younger ones because I just didn't want to deal with the adult. Not today.
Man, some of these hairs are 3/4 of an inch.
Yes.
That's really pretty. I love how they just all stick out.
That's how she's seeing the world.
That's really cool. That's very pretty.
All right, so that's a strong contender.
Yes.
That's the blood leg. But it's going up against a classic. Now, I wish I had younger ones of these to show you. We got them actually in stock. I should have brought them up. That is the green bottle blue. I don't know what green bottles and blue bottles are. I think that was something that was around in the turn of the century because I don't know what those are. But it's a pretty spider. When they're
pretty.
young, they have coppery brass legs. And
I can see some of that in the
stripes
hair.
on their butt.
Okay.
And then when they grow old, they turn blue, teal with that bright orange butt and lose all their pattern.
Yeah, you can definitely see the blues almost to purples. Like it's a very dark blue. That's so pretty. Wow, you can tell like under some really good lighting.
Yeah, green bottle blues are among the most popular tarantulas in the world for that reason.
That is very pretty. And with the red rump, I like it. Very pretty, very pretty.
So yeah, that robustum's hard to beat, but you know, a green bottle blue is a classic. I'm gonna give it to the green bottle blue.
Yeah, definitely. They're popular for a reason. That's a beautiful, beautiful tarantula.
All right, so now in Team Blue, we would be definitely remiss if we didn't bring out a Metallica. That was the very first Holy Grail spider. It just hit the market when I first got into tarantulas. Again, 3/4-inch spiderlings, if you could get them, were like $350 and probably smuggled from Germany. And now they're really well established in the hobby, which is good because they're starting to get threatened in the wild.
Wow. I love the yellow stripes on the legs as well too. That's a really bright yellow that I haven't seen on some of the other ones that we've looked at. That's really pretty.
Yeah, if you're a U of M fan, that's the spider for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I guess it has a reputation for being really blue, but I never really looked at the bright yellow stripes on it as well too. Yeah, definitely
That's the warning
University
colors.
of Michigan.
When that spider shows you those colors, they're on the underside bottom of their front legs. So they only show it to you when they've raised those front legs, and when they've raised those front legs, they brought those fangs to bear. So when you see that yellow, that means back off. You done messed up. Reconsider your life choices.
I'm gonna get you. That's really pretty.
Now I said that tarantula venom isn't deadly, and that's true. However, there is a few tarantulas that are placed in a group that they call the medically significant venom. Now that's definitely time to just ask any favors you've got of God.
Yeah.
Because it's going to hurt. That's the worst venom. But again, there's never been a fatality.
Wow. So, Jason, working with tarantulas, you probably get bitten like on a regular basis. It's something that regularly happens to you, right? Like that's something you experience.
If I was to round up the number of bites I've had in the last 24 years of working with spiders, it would be 0.
Unreal.
It's easy to avoid a bite. Just don't put yourself in the place. You know.
Yeah.
In the art of war, they say the best way to avoid a punch is not to be there when it's thrown.
Yeah.
So I guard myself. So it's easy to avoid getting bit just by not putting myself in that situation. However, you can't avoid getting haired, and I couldn't count how many times I've been haired. It's horrible. Horrible.
That's pretty. That's really pretty.
So this is a fantastic spider and really hard to beat. This is the Poecilotherium metallica, the Goody Sapphire. And she is going against one of my favorites. Now, this has the name of other spiders, but it's not what you may think. This is Brachypelma smithi. We call it the Mexican giant orange knee. The red knee used to be Brachypelma smithi, but then they changed it to Homorai. And that's not a bad-looking spider. It's a nice-looking spider, the Homorai, the red knee. But if you compare it to a smithy, there's just no comparison. It has so much more orange.
Yeah.
That beautiful, their cephalothorax turns, when they're younger, it's black, ringed in red. But as they get older, it's red with a little black triangle, like a missing piece of pie, right over its eye mount.
That is so orangish, pumpkin-y. I love that color. That's really, really pretty. Very pretty. And very dark. Like there's a lot of color there.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Her name's Naranja.
That is so pretty. Yeah, I would choose this guy over the Metallica.
She might actually be my favorite spider.
Yeah.
But I am kind of also Steve Irwin about it. My favorite one's often the one in front of me.
That's very pretty. Yeah, I would definitely choose that guy over the Metallica.
So, those are just some of the red versus blue pair-ups. But another smart aleck answer that I saw on our post online, and I love smart aleck answers, was someone was like, well, I love them both. Red and blue make purple. You're right. So, this is Xenesis species bright. Now, in most cases, in tarantulas, when the male becomes mature, they actually can look pretty rough, pretty grisly. Oftentimes, dark ones turn to straw color, and they definitely look like a shadow of what they used to look like. This group, Xenesis, is one of the exceptions. When the male becomes mature, he becomes a cover girl. He is an absolute rock star. Wow. The metallic purple on his carapace is the reason why, even as a mature male, that's a $150 spider.
That is amazing.
Females at that size would be like $500 to $800.
I like how long and lanky the legs are. Like that reminds me of like really like a spider. But like the purple that's on the back, like it looks like a nail polish that my 7-year-old would get. Like just really bright out there, and like if she painted a spider, this is probably what it would look like. That is so. It just doesn't seem like a natural color. It seems like, hey,
Maybe
this is a bottle of nail polish that doesn't sell that my 7-year-old would pick up.
Maybe Maybelline needs to get on that. Zanisa species purple.
Yeah.
People need that.
Yeah, that is so pretty. It's hard to believe. It's almost, it reminds me of like the masks and stuff like that you sometimes would see. Like, it's just so bright. It's unbelievable. That is definitely a very pretty spider.
That's the way he's telling his future girlfriend, please don't eat me.
Look, I look pretty for you. Awesome. So we're doing this competition on Facebook. We're allowing people to show off some pictures of their spiders as well, too. So if you see those posts, please jump on, vote Team Blue, vote Team Red, but show off your spiders as well, too.
Yeah, I'd love to see all your pictures of spiders. It makes my day.
Cool. Thanks for dropping some knowledge on us. I'm going to do a lightning round with you, some questions that some of these you've done before, but I wanted to get some answers so that people can get to know you a little bit better. So give me the first answer that comes to your mind. If you can't think of anything, we'll move on and just say pass. All right. If money and space were no option, no constraint on you, money and space are not an issue, what's the pet that you would keep?
Parenti monitor.
Really? Cool. Monitor is probably one of the most common animals that people mention for that question. All right. Besides Josh's frogs, who's another person in our hobby that's doing something really cool? Somebody that's breeding really cool spiders or breeding really cool animals, or somebody that's making a product that's like just really, really cool that we would recommend that people use or check out.
Well, I often shout out Preuss Pets. I still love them. They're awesome people. But if you're out in the Grand Rapids area, there's a newer pet store that has all the kind of stuff that we love. I definitely recommend you check out Asylum Pets.
Oh, cool. All right. What is your favorite animal or plant in the entire world? What's the coolest thing on this planet?
Well, I'm kind of biased, but their name is Edith Bogart.
Oh, that's cool. Dad of the year right there. All right. If you had a bunch of people listening to you and you could give them any piece of advice, whether it's about tarantulas or about life in general, what's one thing you would say? What's your one piece of advice that you would tell people?
Whenever possible, be kind, be generous.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Jayzun, for dropping some knowledge on us and letting us get to choose between the red and blue. I really appreciate you educating us on those. And it's really cool to take your passion for tarantulas and transpose that to other people. So thank you for what you're doing for the tarantula hobby. I appreciate that. If you guys want to check out more of what Jayzun does, he's on a bunch of our videos. He's doing some content and blogs and that kind of stuff as well, too. So check out the stuff that he does on our channel and across tarantula forums and whatnot as well too. So check him out. Thank you guys. Take care. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoy this content and want to stay up to date, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us across social media. We always want to bring you the best content, so let us know what you think in the comments. And for all your reptile and amphibian needs, be sure to check us out at joshsfrogs.com. We have an amazing selection. Until next time, stay curious, stay froggy, and keep exploring.